Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. And thanks to the economist and team for inviting me to comment on these ambitious topics for the future of the Greek economy. I believe that I can cover these topics today and in an overall theme that I would call ongoing systemic disruption. I will echo in that some of what Mr. Zavos mentioned and some of the others. The quickest way to enable systemic disruption is to ask the why we do things and what is our purpose. And the banks were forced to ask these questions in the last several years. They generated and discussed the answers, and they started massive transformations that are creating these systemic disruptions. Now we need to continue those disruptions for the whole Greek economy, applying the lessons learned and going beyond. In the last 10 years leading to the banking crisis, banks faced strategic inadequacies, systemic inefficiencies, and performance shortcomings. The banking system needed and continues to need new models, new approaches, and renewed creativity. The banks needed to answer the why and the what is our purpose more effectively. And as a result, the banks started transforming themselves in many and significant ways. The disruption progresses and needs to continue and become wider and deeper to respond to the remaining challenges of the banking model until the remaining and existing local and global challenges are met. Stronger collaboration between state and banks within renewed principles and discussions for more successful co-creation, and the creation of effective and constructive approach in Greece to the impending arrival of the Recovery and Resilience Facility. A few years ago, and we're all familiar with these problems, we sat in rooms like this and we were questioning what lessons can be learned from the tough experiences of the recent past. We were losing young Greeks from our production base. We were losing billions from our annual GDP. We're watching sections of the economy under pressure from technology challenges. And we're witnessing a country wounded and in search of a new strategic direction. The banks responded, and some more quickly than others, with massive and ambitious transformation programs to update their operating and business models. The programs deployed methodologies, predictably, that included context and content and architecture. All key of these three components are important. Context to inspire the vision and mission, what we Greeks call the orama and the apostoli, to empower fully the way to transform. We have updated leadership models, culture, values, and purpose that acted as enablers to the transformation that we were going through. The content is important. It designs the many parts of the work to be done, ensures delivery, risk management, quality assurance, and architecture to ensure that there is an alignment between strategy and execution, and culture and values and governance that impact the whole system. These efforts have created a new and solid institutional machinery inside the banks to support continuous engagement in transformation to face all unexpected challenges, including COVID. All institutions and organizations grow from crises as they meet them and address them successfully. The Greek banking sector, as was mentioned already, is increasingly more agile. There is balance sheet cleanup, and it's advancing. Business models have been transformed. Human capital is upgraded. Capital positions are improved. Single digits of non-performing loans are within reasonable reach, according to the plans in place now, and we have productivity improvements focusing on our clients. Corporate governance also continues to upgrade and meet stringent standards. So there is a growing prospect that banks will be able to join forces behind the shared strategic agenda with the state, and also the Hellenic Bankers Association is doing its bit to transform itself and become a key player in the economy more so than it has been before. The firm implementation of this ambitious restructuring and transformation for the Greek banks helped with COVID, and also the sizable fiscal stimulus and the activation of state guarantees was very helpful. And as Minister Zavos mentioned, Hercules was a very important part of that. We are ready to continue with the systemic disruption and to apply it to the whole of the Greek economy, benefiting from the lessons that the banks learned and going beyond to disrupt parts of the economy. Further cooperation of the state and banks is proposed ahead of the EU Recovery Fund. Banks are ready to capitalize on their most valuable asset, information on the Greek economy and the business sector, and use their improved institutional machinery in this direction, including SMEs in a better way and going beyond what we call conventional intermediation. The banks are ready to do their screening, transmission, validation, and amplification of the mechanism of the Recovery Fund. There is a strong strategic complementarity that emerges between the transformed banking system and Greece's ambitious targets, institutional and social transformation through the RRF. The key successes of the Recovery Fund is to use its transformation force to upgrade many parts of the economy. This confluence of purpose in the sizable investment and the structural reforms of the bank aims to increase the long-term growth potential and social prosperity, to use this opportunity to deepen our productive base, endogenize and internalize and enlarge our growth impact, increasing production of high-end products and services in the country, to reduce the risk that the economy is unable to absorb available capital because risk appetite, at least in the private sector, is lower than the capacity to absorb, and to participate in that process with the SMEs. And finally, to set the stage for reversing the brain drain and put in motion a virtuous circle of mutually reinforcing improvements in labor market and social conditions. From my experience in the country, we have the ORAMA and the new national operating and business model. We have a newly designed institutional machinery at the banks to process change and inspire creativity. We have the potential for a renewed dialogue between key components of our social and political structures, and we should take full advantage of that. And we have the ambition and the apostoli so that we are ready for the challenges of the journey ahead. Thank you very much.